I opened up this email on my computer and there were photographs, a book of photos and the script. And he didn't say very much. He just said, this is a story of these two people. Anyway, I clicked on the photo deck. I didn't really read it. And I scrolled through these images of who I now know are Ruth and Seretse, but I didn't know who these people were. I didn't know where it was. And I had a most extraordinary reaction. I looked at these faces and these tears just started pouring out of my eyes. I mean, it was odd. It was very odd. And I said to Roby, my other half, I said, I don't quite know what's just happened there. And he said, well, neither do I, but I think you should tell David about it. So I wrote to David and I said, I was in the middle of, cooking dinner and I opened up these photographs you sent and, whatever it was about these two people, whoever they are, has sort of punched right into my gut somewhere. And I had to write to you immediately because I don't know if it's some sort of truth about these faces, the way they're looking out of the camera. There's some sort of hope or conviction or sort of just... I still don't know what it was, to be honest. It was a sort of... there was an image of the two faces close together, an image of a baby, an image of Ruth's back, I think, with, all scenes that I now know intimately, but Ruth's back with women filing past her. And an image of the two of them on a rock looking over Serowe, which I now know is Serowe, but then I didn't know. And it was landscape and faces and a story I wanted to know more about, I suppose. But it was an odd reaction. And then I just wrote to David and then I read the script and luckily the script sort of bore out everything I'd hoped for from having this very... I don't even know what the word is, sort of immediate connection with these pictures of these people. I love Ruth Williams. She's a girl who has that unique pluck and courage that was particular, I think, to women and men of that generation who were very young when the Second World War broke out and who had to grow up very fast. When I first read the script, what I loved was the fact that it's about love. It's about the sort of extraordinary fortitude and strength that love can give you, and that being loved can sort of lend you sort of superhuman strength for some period. That these two people fall in love in such a committed and real and true way that they can withstand these political battles they find themselves facing. And Ruth is not a political person, she didn't go out to change the world. That's what I really love about it, is she's not a reformer. She's not out to make a big splash, and yet she does. But always her through line is being allowed to stay with this man. And that sort of, that straight as a die intent that then has all these other repercussions. I mean, I think that's just amazing. And in the process of fighting for that, they fought for so much more. A United Kingdom, it's a love story. It's a pure and simple on one level and very complicated on another. It's about a young man who's due to be chief of the largest tribe in Bechuanaland, now Botswana, who in 1947 meets and falls in love with an English girl from southeast London, and they meet completely by chance at a missionary society dance, and it changes the course of their lives. And in fact, unbeknownst to them at the time, the course of the whole nation of Botswana. They set off a series of chain reactions within the British government and the leaders of the tribe in Bechuanaland that neither of them could have foreseen. What Ruth and Seretse were doing in 1947 was really radical. I mean, in some ways, you know, the act of love is always radical, and for these two, it was in particular, because there weren't many mixed-race couples at that time. It just shows you the power of drama, really, that you know, there's a certain point with filming that, yes, you know, you're telling a story, but there's a certain times when it's real. It's not an artifice. It's totally and utterly real. And I think we've never seen that experience represented on screen of a white person trying to belong in a black world and wanting to and needing to and feeling that, you know, this place is home. And I think, you know, for the white people, she looked like them and talked like them and dressed like them, but she didn't think like them. And that's a sort of huge threat to those people. And they found her sort of disgusting, I think. And then right before, when she's packing one evening, the evening before she's going to fly back to England with Jacqueline, she's looking out the window and sees all the women from the village moving towards the house. And she's there with Seretse's sister, Naledi, and they go outside and they walk towards the women who, at this point, are standing on the perimeter of their fence. And Ruth says, "Well, what are they doing?" And the lady says, "They're thanking you for walking the road with them." And then at that point they come through with gifts of squash and beads and fruit and that was what was in the script. And then they were to lay them down. But what actually happened is these local women came through the fence and they started to sing this song in Setswana. And Terry Fito, who is playing Naledi, I heard the word Naledi in the song. And so I, as Ruth, said, are they singing about you? And she said, no, they're saying Seretse's wife, she shines like the morning star, which must be what Naledi means. And I think when you've been on Ruth's journey from the total suspicion and alienation and shunning to this point which is obviously this sort of huge outpouring of acceptance, it was very emotional and sort of pure and totally spontaneous. You know, they didn't, it wasn't scripted, it wasn't asked for. And it was just a pure expression. And it was very, I've never really experienced anything quite like it. We had this exhilarating dance, evening of dance at the RIVOLI Ballroom, doing Lindy Hop, and it's such a powerful and fun and energizing dance because it's flirty and unexpected and cheeky. And what I love is that in this sequence you see Ruth and Seretse become kind of intimate, and then they walk back through the streets and there's a sort of chastity about it again, because they can't have the physical expression that they can have on the dance floor. I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have Amma. She's so the perfect director for this movie. It's not... I mean, occasionally I get a sort of glimpse of what it could have been like with someone else and get quite nervous about it. You know, what she's brought to it is so unique, and her own take, which is so right and true. And obviously she has experiences that, you know, to be blunt, a sort of white male director would not have had. She's a director who directs very much from the personal point of view. You know, she really shares her experience and lays it all out there, which makes you feel very safe to lay your own experiences and feelings out there. A different director wouldn't have had those personal realities to share. I think Amma injected a lot of things into the script. I mean, she worked, I know, on her director's draft of the script with Guy Hibbert. And I think together, hand in hand, they produced a really amazing script. And I think it's definitely took a different turn when Amma became involved with the project. She very much wanted to have Seretse's sister involved, and that was an ingredient that she felt passionately about putting in, you know, that Ruth had another woman to relate to, that wasn't easy at first, a relationship that wasn't easy at first, but that shows Ruth finding a connection other than her connection to Seretse.